bloodsuckers.
As you walk through the valley of the shadow of hell,
Join us!
you will realize that there is something ahead.
Groovy.
Something that lurks behind the dark veil.
We have such sights to show you.
A veil that is beyond our own comprehension.
I'm just gonna bash your brains.
Beyond the void.
What's up, guys, and welcome back to Beyond the Void
Horror Podcast.
That's right. We're back for episode 173 with two movies from 1989. Of many underwater movies from 1989 to talk about Leviathan and
Deepstar Six.
Deepstar Six. Six.
Not that one.
What is that fucking song by fucking Slipknot?
Oh, I don't remember.
It's not 5, 5, 5, it's 6, 6, 6.
That was a good Slipknot voice.
I don't know what they sound like anymore. Isn't it like singy-songy shit now? Like he doesn't scream anymore?
I always think of Fear Factory when... well, they're not like Fear Factory, but when you say singy, screamy, I think Fear Factory.
Yeah. Well, anyway, we're back to talk about those two movies, and I think that you guys should get a kick out of these. Both of them, by the way, are up on Amazon Prime, so if you have a subscription to the service for, you know, getting your shit shipped to you, it's pretty much a win-win situation. Because I think that it's cheaper to get the video service with them than Netflix, even if you don't count the shipping costs.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
right.
Technically, they started it for the shipping costs and then included the video service.
Right.
So I'm just wondering if it's a matter of time. They're like, for $5 more, you can get the video service.
Well, and they have the music service. They have add-ons.
Right. But you can watch the movies on there and probably rent them anywhere you want to watch them, I guess, because I'm sure they're up and about. One of the movies that we were looking at, which was Leviathan, you can only get on Blu-ray if you want to pay $60. So.
Yeah, because it's out of print.
Right. When Screen Factory did it, and I remember when they were going out of print with them too, and I was like, fuck, I should get that. No, I didn't.
Oh, well.
Anyway, so we've had an interesting week, guys. So, yeah, we almost didn't do this episode together this week. So, but Christina pulled through and things turned around for the better.
Yeah, my mom, she was at the gym and she had a stroke and they had to airlift her to the hospital, and she's been in there for all week.
Right.
She had to have 3 surgeries.
Yeah, for clots.
Yeah, she got blood clots, and then her brain was
Multiple.
bleeding. Yeah, it was crazy. It was insane.
It was very touch and go there for a little while.
Yeah, but I mean, oh my God, that hospital, I think it was Banner University in Phoenix, they had like 10 doctors on her.
Right.
Because it was just like everything, her whole body was shutting down, but it looks like she's gonna...
If you guys are wondering where I've been on streaming and stuff like that, there it is.
Yeah.
That's because we were pretty much... Christina was...
MIA. I took off work, well,
Yeah.
of course, you know.
There was just a lot going on, but I think, you know, us being able to get back into the podcast was kind of like a good thing because it all turned out good, by the way. She's much better now, by the way, guys. Mm-hmm. So, like, the worst case was going to be, like, removing a limb.
Yeah.
Or no, it wasn't the worst case. That was the best case scenario at the time.
That's true,
and then she pulled through and they did some surgery that helped her.
Uh-huh.
And now she gets to keep all her limbs and she's doing better.
Yeah.
So, fucking thank God.
Crazy.
Yeah.
And it's all because she takes care of herself.
She's a fucking triathlon
yeah, she did
person.
a triathlon like 2 weeks ago. Like I think she's done Ironman. Like,
yeah, she's pretty, I mean, for a woman her age, she's kicking ass.
yeah, and it was really like an unexpected thing that happened. But anyway,
so inevitably that means that now Christina's going to be like, you need to lose weight. You need to do this.
You need to stop smoking. Alex really needs to stop smoking.
Okay.
It's ridiculous.
All right. So anyway, guys. And then to make matters worse, my father and my mother got new cell phones and they don't understand technology. And so I spent 5 hours today on the phone trying to help my dad not throw the phone against the wall. And yeah, so pretty interesting. He's never going to buy a new phone again. But I think it'll be a lot easier transition now that I explained what like Google does and everything like that. So that was interesting. Had a really good time with that. Probably the best time this week. That was just the cherry, you know. But anyway, things are better, guys. So I'm glad your mom's doing good. She's a fucking trooper.
Yeah. But since we went through all that, I'm a little lagging. Well, we did get to watch these movies, but I was a little lagging on one of the movies because I was tired.
Doesn't matter.
But okay, well, I can still talk about it.
Yeah, like I said, it was nice for us to be able to do these movies to kind of get us into the normal brains, you know, like weekly, you know, daily routine kind of thing. Yeah. Like I felt like it kind of distracted us.
Totally.
You know what I mean? Because like once you've been dealing with that all week, you like don't even know what to do with yourself. You just shut off. So this was like, okay, don't give up just yet. Don't go to bed. Don't go to beddy-bye just yet. Anyway, so I think it might be that time.
What time is it?
Horrorshots! That's right. We got a lot of horrors coming out. No, I'm kidding. Sorry. It sounds like that every time we say it.
Your strip club DJ voice again.
Go on and let the horrors in, Christina. Horror shots. Horror shots. I don't know. Anyway, I hope it sounds like it, but whatever. Fuck it. Our pictures for horror shots look like fucking horror shits, Christina said. And I was like, you know what? Fuck that. I'm not changing it. If they think it's horror shits, they'll be like, take a closer look and open up the webpage. So, but anyway, this week we're going to be doing one of the movies of either Leviathan or Deepstar Six. And we kind of had a toss up because in one of the movies, they actually do vodka. But the only problem with that is we did vodka last week, so we didn't want to do that. So we decided to pick Deepstar Six because one of the characters in this movie is called Snyder. And Snyder is a fucking disaster, okay? And Snyder doesn't know that you need to decompress when you go up in your little happy bubble in underwater territory and stop for 5 minutes and then recompress and go back up. So we're naming this shot a Cherry Poppin Snyder. And I think you can put one and one together to make two, right?
Right.
So, Christina, why don't you tell us what's in it since you came up with it?
All right. It's half tequila rose.
Half a shot.
It's a half a shot tequila rose.
Right.
And a half a shot of gin. And then around the rim, we put chili pepper powder.
And then on a toothpick,
chili powder.
She put on a bunch of
I put on some cherries.
Maraschino cherries.
Cherry Poppin' Popper. What's it called? Cherry Poppin' Popper.
Cherry Poppin' Snyder.
Oh, Cherry Poppin' Snyder.
Yeah.
And Alex is going to take that shot right now.
She made it for me. And if you guys, this is not going to be an exciting shot for me. Let me just tell you.
Yeah, I can't do the shot. I don't want to be drinking right now.
Now, before you take this shot, guys, you want to say, okay, boys and girls, don't try this at home. For those of you who've seen the movie, you'll know exactly what we mean. So here we go. Franken fucking drink. I hate gin. Half a shot of gin, half a shot of tequila rose. Both of those are not good.
They're not good together.
No.
So have fun with that. Oh, does it smell bad?
It smells bad. Smells bad.
Yeah, take it over the trash, the garbage can there, bud.
If you make me puke, my first puke, I'm going to fucking throw this drink on you. I'm going to puke on you. How about that?
I'm wondering how that chili... There he goes. Down the chute. Oh, he did it all. Oh, was it bad? I don't see a disgusting face. It's dripping down your mouth, though. It looks like you just have cum rolling down your mouth.
Nothing new. Perfectly normal, perfectly healthy. Actually,
how was it?
Surprisingly, it's not as bad as I thought it was going to be.
I know, because it's good gin.
Maybe. I just think all gin is garbage.
I'll have to, you'll like it. I'll make you like it. You just
the Tequila Rose, I think, canceled out some of the gin, the gin flavor, which is pine needles and fucking strawberry tequila. It's not bad.
You made it.
It's not bad. I'm not going to touch the cherries though, because fuck that.
Oh yeah, I forgot you don't like those.
Well, I don't mind cherries. I just don't. I don't know. Just after putting gin in my hole, like it just, I don't want to tempt it and make me grossed out.
How was it chili?
The chili was fine. It made sense.
Okay.
It worked out. So if you guys would like to try a cherry Poppin Snyder, all you got to do is go to longlivethevoid.com and check out our hashtag Horrorshots section now. That's it for Horrorshots. All right, guys. So now we're going to jump into our flesh and potatoes of Leviathan and
Deepstar Six.
Reviews right now.
Before I get started, before we start talking into this, we're going to go in alphabetical. We're going to go in chronological order of when the movies came out. Because I like to do that because, you know, maybe they took some tips from another movie and maybe used it. You never know. The coincidences we have on this podcast sometimes, the connections you make is really interesting. So before we get into it, we're gonna be talking about one movie here in particular. I'll tell you in a second. But part of the reason that we wanted to do this episode was because, well, one, we saw the movie Underwater a few months ago and really liked it. Second, I watched Screamers recently, which also had, you know, Peter Weller in the movie, which is one of the movies we're going to be talking about, and Leviathan. And it kind of gave me the idea to watch more Peter Weller because he's really good in sci-fi. I really like him in sci-fi. So obviously, you know, he was in RoboCop and all that other shit. We'll get into that.
Oh, okay.
But after Underwater, it made me kind of want to watch the craze of the 1989's underwater monster horror movie race that they had back then. Because we got like 4 or 5 movies in 1 year's time that came out. And it's pretty interesting stuff. Back in 1988, there was a word that they were going to be shooting a movie on a huge budget in large underwater tanks starring Ed Harris. And of course, James Cameron was going to be directing it. And a lot of the money that they had for this movie was being thrown around a lot. So it made a lot of big waves, pun intended.
Oh.
But you know, that movie, of course, is called Abyss, which came out on August 9th, 1989. When all of these studios heard about it, they were like, oh, we got to do this. It was about a $45 million budget movie, which is pretty big for back then.
Right.
Okay. It's big 89? For today,
Jeez.
even. But there's bigger movies, you know, you get like 200,000, 300 million, you know what I mean?
Right.
200 million, I mean. Yeah. You get some of these movies that are just insane, but yeah, that's a comparative to it. It was like so big. But the buzz was huge back then, and the anticipation was super high for a lot of people. So a lot of people were wondering what this movie was going to be about because they kept the tight lid on it. Another pun intended.
You're talking about The Abyss?
Yeah.
Still? Okay, just make sure.
So, like a good industry does, or at least what they used to do back in the day, is they made 4 more underwater movies in 1989 to compete and tap into that excitement. Which, you know, these 2 films that we're going to be talking about today managed to beat The Abyss to a release. So it was just before. Yeah. And that was Deepstar Six, directed and produced by Sean Cunningham, which we'll get into more details about that. And then there are, of course, movies like Leviathan, which we're going to be talking about after that. And then they had Lords of the Deep, produced by Roger Corman, which was also another, like, flag to get us to watching these 2 movies because we watched Cultastic and they mentioned talking about Lords of the Deep. That was just one of his movies that he put out trying to beat Abyss. And then there was another straight to video movie called The Evil Below. And even after 89 that came late was 1990's The Rift, which we've actually done a review of on this episode, or one of our episodes at least. I think it was with Patrick. But it was the same special effects team as Aliens. So that had some pretty cool stuff in it too. But so there was plenty of underwater sea adventures to be had in 1989. Obviously, the best of the bunch was The Abyss, but there are a few that we're going to be talking about today that might be worth checking out on your own. And since they're up on Amazon Prime, why not? We'll go ahead and kick it off with one of them, which is
Deepstar Six, released January 13th, 1989.
So this is the first, like...
Yeah, this is the first one of that year going into it. And it's about the bottom of the ocean. The Deepstar Six has just discovered a new and deadly alien menace. Tagline, save your last breath to scream.
Oh, God.
This is directed and produced by Sean Cunningham, like you said. He was the director of Friday the 13th, A Stranger is Watching, The New Kids. I've never seen The New Kids. Is that good?
Yeah, it's interesting. It's another one of those punks gone mad kind of movies. Yeah,
nice. But also mostly a producer on The Last House on the Left, the original and the remake. Producer of the 4 House movies. My Boyfriend's Back, and the Friday the 13th franchise.
Yeah, he is a big part of the production of a lot of them.
Yeah.
He didn't necessarily do all of them, but he was a big part.
He had his hand in it. This was written by Louis Abernathy, who directed House 4, which was his first and only direction. Mm-hmm. Only other thing he wrote was a TV movie that Cunningham directed called Terminal Invasion. Yeah. That's a nice title.
It looks kind of a cool cover, but I doubt it's good.
Yeah. Also written by Jeff Miller, who also helped write House 4 and something called Lover's Lane. And just to mention, the music in this is done by Harry Manfredini, who obviously made the famous work of the Friday the 13th.
Yeah, and many other things.
Yeah, and the video game and all that stuff.
He redid some of the work on that.
Oh, did he?
Yep.
Wow.
They hired him to come in and
redo it,
do extra stuff. Yeah, so
that's cool. All right, Deepstar Six stars Tyreen Blackie.
Blackie? I don't know.
Okay, Tyreen Blackie plays the captain.
It's a weird name.
It is a weird name. He's played a detective on Hill Street Blues forever. Mm-hmm. And he was also in Rocky 2. Nancy Everhard, who plays Joyce. She was in the Dolph Lundgren movie, the Punisher movie.
Yep.
Another 48 Hours, Demon Stone, Urban Legends, Bloody Mary.
Yeah, Urban Legend, Bloody Mary. It was one of the last ones.
Yeah, she was kind of a popular actress right there in the late 80s. Mm-hmm. Greg Evigan, who plays McBride, who was the star in the show BJ and the Bear.
BJ the Bear!
He was BJ.
Yeah, he was a BJ. He gave BJs, too,
yeah, I
in
bet
the show.
you did give a lot of BJs.
No, I just always remember, I never knew what BJ and the Bear was, but I always remembered Mr. Show bringing it up. He was like, oh, hey, BJ and the Bear's coming on soon. So I thought,
that's so
I always
weird.
Wondered, so anyway.
So weird. I was also in Strip to Kill, all the Tech War TV movies and show. Terror Birds and Megaconda.
Yeah,
ooh, Megaconda. Miguel Ferrer, who plays Snyder.
Yep.
One of the major funny guys in this. He was in Star Trek, The Search for Spock, RoboCop, Twin Peaks, Point of No Return. Oh my God, I like Point of No Return.
Yeah,
that was
a good one.
movie.
It was a remake of
La Femme
Nikita.
Yeah, I like that. Hot Shots Part 2. The Stand movie. Ooh, they're remaking that.
Yeah.
Blank Check, The Night Flyer.
Mm-hmm. Two looks like Stephen King shit there.
Yeah.
Plus David Lynch stuff.
Figures. Nia Peoples plays Scarpelli. She started out on Days of Our Lives in 1983, then was on Fame TV show.
I want to live forever.
She's on like 50 episodes. Yeah. Deadlock 2, which is one of the Deadlock 2, which the first one was a Rutger Hauer movie. Mm-hmm. And she was also in the Blues Brothers from 2000.
They called it like Wedlock or something like that. It was like, they had a couple of different names, but it was Deadlock. Yeah.
Oh, towards the end or something. Matt McCoy, who plays Richardson, who I always remember from Hand That Rocks the Cradle. Mm-hmm. Obviously. He did a lot of sexy movies. You know, the Skinamax kind.
Can you tell that I wrote this?
I know, I'm reading what he wrote. It doesn't say grab her pussy.
Oh
No,
my God.
Kidding. I'm just kidding.
I'm not Trump.
Okay, Matt McCoy was also in Memory Lane, Samurai Cowboy, and National Security. National Security?
Yeah, it was with Martin. Martin.
Oh, I was thinking National...
Can't we all just get along?
I was thinking of a National Treasure.
Martin Lawrence, thank you.
Oh, okay. The budget for this movie was $8 million, and it pulled in about $8 million at the box office, so it like evened out.
Broke even, yeah.
Yeah. Alex,
Oh.
what did you think about this fantastical piece of shit?
Oh, I didn't get to see it. Just kidding. So this movie is a bit of a slow burner. In the bad way, not like the anticipation and
Yeah.
like feels department. It has a few cool scenes that it really takes its fucking grand old time getting to, before it gets interesting, in my opinion, honestly. This one kind of focuses a bit more on the cast, but the problem with that is that it's nowhere near entertaining to watch them and their camaraderie like the next movie we're going to be talking about. It just lags behind and attempts sort of like a human issues long before the underwater monster movie kicks in, which really, it kind of wears on you as a viewer. Personally, it did for me.
Right.
I mean, sure, they want to build the characters, but it just really isn't enough to make you lock in as a viewer.
Right.
Like, there's nothing that really is that interesting.
To want to care what's there at the
Right.
end.
I didn't care too much for the characters. I mean, maybe. And the only one that I really liked was the fucking Russian guy who, and he wasn't even in it long enough. So,
Right.
But the Snyder character, he's probably the most interesting in general, but he's also one of the most annoying people in the movie. Mm-hmm. That little voice that's in your head, what the fuck are you doing? That's the guy. You know what I mean? Uh-huh. When you stand up in the theater and like, don't go there, you dummy. That's him. Don't do that. He pretty much dooms everybody in this movie. But other than that, the cast is just a little too vanilla for me to even care.
Yeah.
Unfortunately. And I know that this is like some of you guys' favorite movie, and maybe it's just been a while since you've seen it and you remember it more fondly than I did, because I don't know, man. Like, I had a hard time with this one, but by the time you do get to the goods, it sort of just doesn't make sense. Like this big ass creature that's slamming into fucking ships in the like fucking station underwater, it can like kill everybody by doing that, but it fits nicely through a hull door inside.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense. Anyway, the showdown of this creature is a little lackluster, in my opinion. And there may be one or two death scenes that make it kind of okay. It just feels like it's a little too late, like too little too late kind of thing. Mm-hmm. As it just doesn't really show on screen until literally 1 hour and 3 minutes later.
Oh, you counted it.
Yeah. And it's in the extras in the fucking trivia, some of the trivia I looked up.
Really?
Yeah. Like.
So they knew too.
Yeah, a lot of people knew. But, when you do get to see the monster, it looks like a worm from the Tremor movies, only underwater.
Totally.
I mean, which may be a particular breed of worm, I guess, that I've seen in many other films and many other, whatever monster things of worms, I guess. It just never really put me in the sort of, oh shit, I'm actually in danger kind of situation. Like, I didn't feel that while I was watching this movie. And while I know that it's like kind of cheesy fun in a way, it kind of took itself pretty seriously. Mm-hmm. So I may be a little bit harsh on it, but, compared to the other movies that came out in 1989 or even the last one that came out in 1990, technically, I'd rather watch The Rift over this one any day. Uh-huh. It's not too terrible, and it does pick up. It's just not exactly worth it, in my opinion.
Right.
So just fast forward to the end, I guess. I mean, I don't want to shit on movies, but still, it's a little rough for me. So if you've not seen this movie, you should definitely watch it, at least. Make your own assumption from it. I'm not everything I like, you're going to like, vice versa. So at least if you're going to go down the 1989 underwater horror movie, hole or whatever, or sci-fi or underwater movies in general, because The Abyss really isn't horror. But, I think it's worth watching it to see for yourself. But, obviously The Abyss beats this.
Oh, yeah, by tons.
Yeah. I'd probably give this one like a 5, maybe like a 5.5.
Oh, that high.
Yeah, not one I'd reach for first, but if I was in the mood to watch Abyss-like films, I might watch it out of mistake. Or, it's not something it's just kind of there.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, I didn't hate it. It didn't make me, I don't know. It's just tough. What about you?
Well, now that you said that thing about how, in the beginning, about The Abyss, and they were trying to make movies to...
You could see that it's rushed.
Oh, yeah. You could totally tell it was rushed. This movie was horrible. It really was. And it's everything you just said. It wasn't even worth the buildup they tried to do. Wasn't even worth the outcome at the end. I'll be honest, though.
Well, like one known actor that you would probably see.
Yeah. It was... God, I fell asleep.
Yeah.
I'm not going to lie. I fell asleep, and then I was trying to stay awake.
Oh, I kept you up.
But yeah, and then he had to wake me up a couple times. And I'm sure it was of course it was towards the end, and it was towards the good stuff, which I caught some of it, but God, it was just so boring. Oh, was this even a horror movie?
Was there some good things about it that you liked?
No, but seriously,
wow.
Was this even a horror movie? I don't understand.
Let me ask you this. A gigantic worm coming after you in close quarters in the water, if you're scared of things in the water, I would assume that it's a horror movie. What do you think a horror movie is?
I think this was more of like an action movie.
It's like a sci-fi action horror movie.
Oh, okay.
That's all I think of it. But it's still horror, in my opinion. It's just, yeah.
More people need. I mean,
because you laugh at a horror movie, does it make it not a horror movie?
Yeah. God damn it, Alex.
I'm just saying, that's the comparison I always think about. So Dead Alive is funny. It's not really scary, so it can't be a horror movie.
Well,
it's definitely a horror movie.
I don't even think
it's not on the nose horror, but people are afraid to be underwater.
Okay.
Is Jaws a horror movie? Is Jaws a horror movie to you? Or is it an action? Is it an action family drama?
I really think it's an action movie.
I think it's horror.
Okay.
I think so.
That's fine. But I wonder why they had Sean Cunningham do this movie, because this is probably the worst movie he's done.
It was supposed to be some other guy.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So he was like second choice. And
he filled in. He kind of filled in.
Okay, that makes sense.
I don't think he likes to direct as much as produce.
Well, that makes sense too.
So I'm not saying he's not good at it. He's done some good shit.
Right.
But yeah.
No, yeah, I can't even, because, even like the very, very end, which I won't say, God, it was horrible. I'm trying to think of what else. I mean, it was the stuff we made fun of, but that just is every movie. Mm-hmm. 3 out of 10. Oof. This movie sucks.
I think it's average. That's all. Yeah. I don't think it's like the acting, the camaraderie just wasn't there. I didn't care about the characters, and it might be because they were just nobodies for the most part.
Most of them were annoying.
Yeah, I just I really wish it would have been better. It's okay. It's okay.
It's a 3 out of 10. It's
a movie to watch if you are going down that road. Don't go down that road.
No, because there's other movies.
Don't go down that road.
Yeah, don't go down that road.
That road down there. Wow.
No. There's other. This movie did make me appreciate underwater, though. Because, I thought underwater was just okay, but now I'm like, now I really appreciate how they did underwater. Because this one was very tropey, too.
Right.
It was all the basic characters.
There was a couple of things in it that I liked that they did, but man, I don't know why they would keep letting that guy do anything on the ship.
Right.
After the first fuck up, I'd be like, all right, you need to take a break.
Yeah. Or have someone there watching over your shoulder.
Plus, and I don't want to get into too much details, but he comes to the fucking psychiatrist to get help. And he's obviously under a lot of pressure, so why are you making him do important shit?
Like with the missiles.
Anyway, so between us, I'd probably say more of 5 for me, just average.
Really?
Yeah. What?
Nothing.
I didn't think it was that bad.
I did.
You didn't get to watch all those Howling movies with me. I keep bringing it up.
No, I don't need to.
They would just be all ones. You wouldn't be able to differentiate between garbage.
Yeah, probably. Those would probably all be ones to me.
Okay, well, you suck. I just don't think it's a 3. Like, that seems a little low.
I don't think so. I could give it a 1. I don't even give a shit. I'm just doing this number thing because you want me to.
All right. Well,
3.
Okay, so that would give us a grand score of 4 between the both of us.
So don't watch this one, but maybe you should watch.
I mean,
this other one.
I think it's on the fence. It's got everybody that you would think to make it a good movie in some ways.
Didn't work out.
Yeah.
Watch the next movie.
So we do have some trivia and things that I found.
Oh, yeah.
There's not a lot. I added it in some of our scenes and shit too. So apparently Cameron asked Louis Abernathy, who wrote the script, to hold off. James Cameron told him to hold off because he was doing The Abyss.
Uh-huh.
And he told Louis Abernathy to fucking just chill out with selling the script because he sold it during the making of The Abyss. And he was like, don't do that. And it kind of caused them to have like a friend feud for a few years, nothing.
Really?
Yeah, because, he didn't want it to fucking conflict with his movie.
Yeah.
Because The Abyss, but, we all know that The Abyss ended up being the better movie.
Oh, yeah, totally.
So apparently later they reunited on the set of Titanic, which Abernathy had something to do with as well.
Oh, that's interesting.
So it wasn't all that bad, but yeah. So, and also some of the people that worked on this, Kane Hodder actually was one of the people who did this. He was the stunt coordinator.
Really?
For this movie.
Oh.
So, if you guys don't know, obviously Kane Hodder is debatably one of the best Jason for Friday the 13th performers that it's ever been. I don't think he's like, there wasn't any good ones before him, but I liked him.
I mean, yeah, I guess I liked him too. I don't even know if I can tell the difference between.
Well, I was always, I mean, I have preferences. You can listen to our episode on that, the 13th episode we did, Friday the 13th episode. So, but yeah, Kane Hodder did it. I thought it was cool to point out, obviously he knew his stuff. So that's pretty much all I have for trivia on that one.
Oh, okay, good. Next.
So now we're going to jump into some of our scenes. So this is obviously spoiler territory. So if you are not wanting anything spoiled about seeing this movie, go check it out on Prime right now and come back and listen to this episode. We'll be here. You can check out the timestamps below anytime to check back after you see the movie if you want. If not, we warned you. So what is the earliest scene that you have? Is it the end? Is it the end of the movie?
I only have 2 real scenes that I liked.
Okay.
Or that I was like, oh, that's kind of cool.
Did you have one where the captain gets shut in the door?
Yes.
You did have that? Okay, go ahead.
Didn't he get a...
Are you just saying that?
No, I'm trying... I wrote it... I wrote captain and door. That's all I wrote.
Okay, well, there was the captain. He gets caught in the door trying to help out, like, the other characters. Because, like, the Russian guy and the girl go in this offside little site for something, and they get trapped in there because the fucking fish creature, worm, whatever, slams into it and causes it to leak, and they start filling up with water, and then the case crushes his legs, and da-da-da-da-da. And so then her boyfriend, who is also like the assistant captain, he's the, guy learning from his boss, he and him try to get in there, and then the door closes on him and snaps the fucking captain's back. Nothing glorious, nothing practical effects or anything here, guys. But he floods them out because he's like, you need to get out of here before it's too late because you're going to die. And so he just starts flooding the cabin with all the water.
This didn't make any sense to
which
me.
I was like, okay, I'm assuming it's because he wanted them to get the fuck out of there,
right.
I guess to force them back into their ship to escape.
Yeah, so they could the whole ship will sink?
I guess. He just wanted them to leave. It's one of those, I'm a hero, you're not going to die for me,
Yeah, I thought that was weird.
I don't know. I just thought it was kind of funny to point out because he's like, oh, God, my back. My neck and my back. Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
Friday.
Oh, the movie?
Yeah.
Oh.
You don't remember?
I don't remember.
Anyway, so first of all, there was another scene here where because Snyder is just a big problem the whole movie.
Fucking up shit.
He's fucking up shit. What did he almost kill somebody?
Yeah.
What was the first thing he did?
Didn't he shoot somebody in the chest?
Oh, that was later. Yeah. Well, I don't want to get into that yet. She likes to go right for the end. I write down in the beginning.
Because I like to go to the good stuff.
Right. Anyway, there was a scene where Snyder, he did something that upset somebody, and then he goes and talks to the psychiatrist, and he's like, I don't even want to be here. He's like, I could do 6 months, no problem, but I gotta go. He's like, I want to go, get me out of here. And she's like, I'll try. But yeah, like he did something, he fucked up, and they got mad at him for it.
Oh, okay.
And I can't remember what it was.
I can't remember what it was.
The second time that he did something was he blew up the missiles because they were all going to abandon ship because of this creature, and they were going to blow up this cave. That's what it was. They were going to blow up the cave, and they had these nuclear missiles and everything, nuclear bombs down there, and you can't leave them. It's protocol to explode them. So before you leave the site, because somebody could go down there and like steal it at the bottom of the ocean, 16,000 fucking feet under the ocean. But yeah, they could. And so he's like, why? Why does it even matter? And then the captain or the like science guy's like, just do the procedure. Do you need help, or should I do it for you? And he's like, I think I can figure it out. And then he like blows up the fucking missiles. They're like really close. And he's like, and everybody's like, what the fuck was that? And he was like, did you just blow up the missiles? What the fuck? Like, do you don't have any idea the impact this is going to have on this fucking ship now? And like, they all like the ship gets all fucked up. You know, I don't know why the procedure would not include instructions to get the fuck away.
Yeah.
Doesn't make much sense.
I think they kind of hinted that he was following the wrong procedures or something when the guy was yelling at him.
Or he's just stupid.
Yeah, that too.
I don't know. That turned into a whole big thing. And he was like, immediately they were all just trying to fix everything. And like, it was like they forgot about it. But then afterwards they were like, you fucking idiot. You know what I mean? I'm going to fucking kill him.
Right.
Okay, what about the gym guy who gets chomped in half in the airlock?
Oh, yeah. Everybody seems to get chopped half, huh?
No, it was that was the big scene in the
two.
movie. It's on the cover of the film.
Oh.
Where he's in that big blue suit.
Oh, that's right.
You didn't write that down?
No.
God.
I think that I
just want to get to the good stuff. It's only on the cover.
So that's when the monster made its first appearance on the ship.
Well, yeah, like they opened the fucking thing because they got to go down there and like bypass the air because it collapsed somewhere and they're trying to get air into the place. And so Jim goes down there fully suited up in that blue fucking gigantic fucking suit. Uh-huh. And he comes up and he's screaming and shit. And half of his body gets chewed in half.
And it's like swinging around, just like his torso. I
don't remember swinging, but I immediately thought of Tremors when I saw that flowering open mouth kind of worm thing.
Totally.
So
maybe this is where Tremors came from.
Yeah, I don't know. But yeah, there was that scene where Snyder uses the air spear.
Yeah.
Is that in there? Do you have that one?
No, but I do have a scene when Snyder, right before he died, he was hallucinating. And he was seeing that guy he shot with the spear. Like, I thought that scene was really cool. And I forget what else he was seeing, but
so Snyder,
he was like hallucinating.
To take it back, Snyder gets a spear gun, like a spear with an air cartridge on the end that like blows air into whatever it has once you stick it in something. And he accidentally pokes it in the back of the fucking scientist's back, and he's like, oh God, no. And it puffs up and pops. And then he's like, I didn't do it. He's like freaking out on it. But yeah, he saw that other guy.
Do it.
And then he runs and like, he's like, fuck this, I'm out of here. And they already told him that we can't go in the fucking escape bubbles because of the compressor. Yes. And he fucking goes in anyway and starts bleeding out of the face and mouth and everything else, which was kind of cool. And this is where we get the shot from. Yeah, Cherry Poppin Snyder. Because that scene was cool because his head really did pop. Well, you don't see his head. You just see the splat. That's true. You just see blood coming out of his face. Why didn't they just have it? Because it costs money. Fuck that. I mean, it would have been a glorious head popping scene. Glorious. But yeah. Oh, and we didn't mention when the one chick found out she was pregnant. Oh, yeah. Jesus. So you're going to get it aborted, right? That's what I was saying the whole time because they were making a big deal about the chick being pregnant. He was like, why didn't you tell me? Well, can we get an abortion now? Like, what the Hey, Doc, you got some scallops? You got some coat hangers in there or something? You got a coat hanger down here? You can fish out a little child? Jesus. Now I'm thinking of that fucking fake abortion video that I posted on my timeline.
That was funny.
Anyway, they do finally escape, though. I think they get in one of the...
two did, yeah.
No, was it two? Yeah, it was just two of them. Yeah, because they go...
and then
they get into another sub, and then they go and decompress on their way or something.
It made no sense.
So, and then it's all happy times when they get up to the surface. And then, of course, the creature...
follows.
Which is in every one of these movies, apparently, comes to the surface with them. and it starts popping up out of the water, coincidentally, like Jason at the end of Friday the 13th.
Oh.
With Sean Cunningham, am I right?
Right.
That was actually part of the trivia that they said in there, but
oh, really?
Kind of makes sense because she falls back. And it's like, oh! But yeah, it's all stupid.
It's all stupid.
They blow up the submarine, and the worm creature's on the submarine, like on top of it, so it kills it, and then you think the guy's dead,
right?
But he's like swimming out, like, and she's like, "Oh my God, you're still alive!
Oh, we can have our baby now!
Yeah, happy times.
Our Deep Space Six baby. Maybe they should do a sequel with
Deep
the baby.
Space? You mean Deep Star?
Or Deep Star?
We're gonna call him Star. No, didn't he say that he wanted to name it after the captain?
Yeah, I think so. This movie's ridiculous.
It's gonna be a girl. I don't know.
Yeah, who cares?
Who cares? Fuck it. It's not even a real baby. Fuck it.
Yeah. It already got aborted.
Jesus. Anyway, so yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think of that movie? I'd be curious to hear what you guys thought if you watched it already. I know some of you guys like to watch the movies before we talk about them. I've been trying to give you guys a heads up early, to let you know, hey, this weekend's assignment, or, or this is what we're watching if you want to, like, chime along with us in our little book club,
club.
It's kind of what it is, it's like a little fucking like movie club that everybody is. So if you guys ever want to know what we're doing, always check on Thursday or Friday, and we'll have up the two movies that we're going to be talking about, or a movie, or whatever we're doing that week.
For next week.
But we do have another movie that came out shortly after it, a few months anyway. It was Leviathan. Which obviously, as I mentioned before, came out in 1989, but it came out March 17th. The story, an American deep-sea mining colony stumbles upon a sunken Soviet vessel hiding a horrific secret. The tagline for this movie is, aliens thrilled you, the fly shocked you. Now, experience real fear.
That was good.
So this movie, by the way, has Stan Winston creature effects in it. So fuck yeah.
What else has he done?
He did Terminator 2 Judgment Day, Jurassic Park, Aliens, a bunch of other stuff.
Oh, okay.
But those are some of the big ones.
The big blockbuster.
Yeah, he's a well-known guy. I don't think that he had the budget that would have made this one pop as much. You know what I mean? Like,
right. But he did good.
Yeah, no, it is good. It also has music by Jerry Goldsmith, by the way, who did the music in it. He was the guy that did The Omen.
Oh, okay.
Soundtrack, one of the better soundtracks, I think.
Yes.
I loved listening to that actually a lot.
Totally.
And we have the whole set of Omen, so we need to do that sometime soon. Plus also some of the special effects as far as like the screen effects and shit like that was done by Industrial Light and Magic. So there's a lot of people attached to this.
Uh-huh.
So the director of this movie is George P. Cosmatos, which happens to be the father of Panos Cosmatos.
Oh.
Or Cosmatos. Maybe, I think it's Cosmatos. Panos Cosmatos is the director of Mandy and Beyond the Black Rainbow.
Oh, okay.
For those of you who are curious. But I had no idea that this was his father. Yeah, I saw the last name and I was like, wait.
So it's in the family.
Yeah. Cool. Well, he worked on Tombstone with his father. That's where he got his big first start.
I love Tombstone.
Yeah, his father directed that. He did Rambo First Blood, Part 2, Cobra. He did Of Unknown Origin, speaking of other Peter Weller fucking movies that are pretty cool. He did a few things, but nothing much. But Tombstone and is a big one too. So
Yeah, it's a good movie.
yeah. David Webb Peoples wrote the story and screenplay. He got help, of course, but he has written for Blade Runner, 12 Monkeys, Unforgiven, Lady Hawk, and more. He also got some help on the screenplay by Jeb Stewart, who has written for the movies The Fugitive, Die Hard, Another 48 Hours, a lot of action films. So, I mean, it's not a bad group.
Yeah.
That's probably why the camaraderie in this was actually really strong.
Yeah, it was strong.
You know?
Oh, that makes sense.
To me, some of the cast in this movie are, of course, Peter Weller, who plays Beck. He was obviously in RoboCop, Naked Lunch, Buckaroo Banzai, Screamers, just to name a few. Also, Richard Crenna, who plays Doc. He was in all of the Rambo movies, so this makes sense that there's another group of people working together. Hot Sharts Part Flu. I don't know what the fuck. No, he was in Hot Shots Part 2, 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea from the 90s, I guess. The Evil, A Fire in the Sky from 1978.
78?
Which, by the way, I looked it up. It's about a comet coming to Arizona, and nobody believes the people telling them.
The fuck?
Right. It's up on YouTube, actually, and I'm kind of curious to watch it.
We need to watch that, because that incident from the Fire in the Sky, we know. No, that's from like the 80s.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
like it's a different,
weird.
I think it was 90s, actually.
Yeah. Oh, actually, sorry, I don't mean to, I'm just going to, go off topic because a comet actually hit last Sunday in Prescott.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, I guess the color out of space is about to happen, guys, so let's get it on.
Or a meteor. I'm sorry, not a meteor.
Whatever.
Hit.
It's going to eat our souls. We also have Amanda Pays. She plays the character Willie, or Williams. They call her both, I think, in the movie. She was in the show Max Headroom and the movie The Kindred, the Flash TV series from the 90s, and Space Jacked. It also has Daniel Stern, which is one of the creepier versions of him. He plays Six Pack. He was in, obviously, all the Home Alone movies as one of the burglars.
Right.
He was in Chud, Dead on Arrival, or just DOA. Little Monsters. He played Glenn Stevenson in that. He was also in City Slickers 1 and 2. And did you know that he was the narrator for The Wonder Years?
Are you serious?
I had no idea.
Wow, that's weird.
Yeah. I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Because his voice sounds so serious.
Yeah.
And I always loved that voice.
Right.
Anyway, he was also in Rookie of the Year, which I just rewatched recently because we got a movie in the Dollar Tree for $1. Also, we got Ernie Hudson, who plays Jones, who is obviously in Ghostbuster movies. He's also in Space Hunter Adventures in the Forbidden Zone, which I love. One of my favorite sci-fi movies.
Yeah.
He's also in The Crow, Airheads, Congo, and many more. We also have Michael Carmine, who plays De Jesus, who was in Batteries Not Included, Miami Vice. He played Mikey and Snake in that show a lot, actually. He was in the Invasion USA movie, which is just bananas. That's a Chuck Norris movie that is just awesome because they took this old neighborhood that they bought all the houses and just fucking blew them up. But
nice.
He's in that movie, which is fucking it's insane. The story on that is in the Electric Boogaloo movie. The movies from the Cannon films or whatever. We saw that. They talked about it in that movie and made me want to watch it again. But he actually died of heart failure shortly after this film released.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah. So this is technically the last film he worked on.
Oh, wow.
Although I think the movie before it came out after.
After? Yeah, that happens.
It got released after, but
right.
Yeah, just barely. It was like he did 2 movies back to back, so his career was budding, so that sucks. Also has Lisa Eilbacher, who plays Bowman. She was in Beverly Hills Cop as Jenny Summers, An Officer and a Gentleman, Never Say Die Bond movie, and Deadly Deception. Also has Hector Elizondo, who plays Cobb. He was in Pretty Woman, Runaway Bride, Beverly Hills Cop 3, The Princess Diaries, Overboard, Taking Care of Business, Necessary Roughness, and How High and more. Also has Meg Foster. She plays Ms. Martin, a.k.a. Creepy Eyes. She was in Masters of the Universe, The Lords of Salem, They Live, 31, Stepfather 2, Blind Fury, which I just watched recently, which was
Oh.
awesome. She's in it for a short while. She was also in Oblivion 1 and 2 and the upcoming movie called Hellblazers, so keep an eye out. The budget on this film I couldn't really find. I'm assuming that it was around $20 million to make, but it made $15 million at the box office.
Oh.
Total. That's like worldwide.
Ouch.
So even if it was made for 15, it wouldn't have been a success.
Right.
So, but I thought it was, pretty cool. So what about you? What do you think of this movie, Christina, since I did all the work on that?
I really liked this movie. I really enjoyed the story and the plot line. It was really good. I enjoyed the camaraderie of all the characters, and the character development was good. Even though it had the typical tropes for the time, it had the asshole, it had workplace harassment against women.
Yeah, that's just the 80s.
Yeah. But again, that's why I look at movies, when we see movies now like Underwater, it's like you don't have to have that anymore. So just to go back and to see it, it's kind of annoying. I liked how, like, this whole thing was caused by a disease. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm just hot. Go ahead.
Okay. Was caused by a disease, and it caused the creatures, and that was really amazing. The practical effects were really scary looking, and they were really good. The best part of this whole entire movie is all the conspiracies. There's this ship they run across, and they find out this ship is still active, so it's like it's this ghost ship. Somebody's trying to cover up something, and then the disease was like this conspiracy disease, and then the corporation was and they were lying to them about a hurricane, and it was just all this conspiracy stuff. And man, I love conspiracy. So to see it in a movie like this, it was really cool.
Okay.
Yeah, I really liked it.
Well, the ship wasn't still operating, by the way.
Well, no,
But they thought it was an operation. It was reported in still operation.
Yeah, that's what I meant, is they've reported it as it's still active. They found out it was still active, but obviously it wasn't active. But anyway, I gave this movie a 7 out of 10. I really enjoyed this movie way more than that other piece of shit.
Way more. You're getting all saucy.
And what did you think, my Alex?
Okay, well, this is the one that I technically watched this one first, but this is the other one I watched first with you.
Right.
So you saw them. I even came in the second time when you were playing it for your time, because you watched it early in the morning the next day.
Right.
And I sat through half the movie again because I was interested still. So that tells you something, that it's actually a pretty damn good movie.
There, yeah.
But I watched this one first, and surprisingly, this is a film that I haven't seen in a long, long time. Longer than Deepstar Six, believe it or not. I didn't even remember that the main creature in this movie at all. Something I noticed too was, why is every fucking underwater fucking station in these movies always under threat to implode or explode? Like, what the fuck is that? Is that just a trope because of it isolates people and puts a timer on it?
I think it's true. It's real. You're not supposed to be down there in water.
Well, if they're always blowing up, maybe you shouldn't make one down there to begin with. That's what I'm saying.
But you have to mine down there. There's things down there we need.
Right. Which this, I would say Leviathan definitely connects with underwater movie more.
Right.
Even though the stories are very different, at least they're down there mining.
Right.
Which is what they were doing in Underwater.
Right.
So, but I guess, just that trope of it going to explode mixes up the plot, puts a timer on it, makes it tense, so they're always like, that thing like how Speed movies where it's like they're on a bus ready to explode, and if they slow down, the movie won't be entertaining. Anyway, this movie is also set in 2027, the future of even now, by the way. So it's 7 years ahead of us. But out of the 89 batch of underwater horror movies, I think this one's pretty fucking good. Mm-hmm. It probably beats all the others, in my opinion, other than The Abyss. It's got Peter Weller in it, and he's always pretty fucking great in sci-fi films, if you ask me. Just watching the trailer should give you more than enough creatures to make you want to pop this one in. So,
right.
if you guys are like me, I like to see shit go wild in the practical effects department. And I think most of us can safely say that the effects in The Thing are some of the best, most pushed scenes in practical effects cinema. Mm-hmm. That and maybe like The Blob. Mm-hmm. This movie, even back then in 89, because The Thing, remember, The Thing wasn't appreciated until later. It became cult.
Right.
It wasn't always a popular movie. It was a flop.
Right.
And it became popular over the years. But these guys, whoever put this together, took The Thing, in my opinion, and tried to give it a nod by making this movie only underwater with the whole disease thing.
Right. Oh, yeah, that makes sense. I didn't think about that.
Not entirely, like not story-wise.
Right.
But just as a fan of the boner or lady boner that you get worthy of the creature effects in The Thing, it's not the same. It doesn't hit those levels of awesome perfectly, sorry to say. But where it lacks, it definitely makes up for its adventurous side in the practical and storytelling. So, you're not going to get as good a story or even acting as The Thing, but it's got heart, and I like that it went for it.
Right.
So, plus, the fucking cast in this is pretty fucking amazing. I mean, these are not exactly nobodies, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
And they actually work pretty well together for that camaraderie that we keep talking about in these films and how important it is. Mm-hmm. Which is kind of a trope at the bottom of the ocean or in space, but I think it's pretty necessary to know how they all get along, because it kind of makes you pick out the people you like, get a kind of idea of what they're like and what like a working situation like that would be in such a closed environment. So I enjoyed the performances. It's not perfect. Lots of cheesy one-liners and jokes, of course, but that's also sort of the charm to me. And if you're willing to go back to 89, you have to expect a level of some cheese. Uh-huh. So Daniel Stern is super creepy in this. He's a fucking, he's a nut. Ernie Hudson has a pretty big role in this, which I thought he did a really good job. Although he's a little token, if you know what I mean, in some of the lines that they wrote for him. But again, it's the 80s. To be expected a little bit more. Mm-hmm. Anyways, I thought that they did a pretty decent job. It does take a long while for a movie to kick in, but not nearly as long as fucking Deepstar Six.
Right.
Like, holy fuck. But, the characters, they carry it along, and it kind of goes along naturally, and it feels right. Like, I didn't have any problem with it really at all. It might be a little long for some, but I don't think so.
I didn't think so either.
I mean, right off the bat, you're like, you got De Jesus fucking running out of air.
Yeah.
So that's like the first thing you see in the very beginning of the movie.
Instant action.
Right. So, plus, once it goes there, it goes there.
Yeah.
With its like large, flappy, big old mutated fish stick slapping your fucking screen with all these cool little fucked up mutated pieces of body and people, which is awesome. So, like I said, it's kind of a nod to The Thing. Not exactly The Thing, but it's pretty hard to beat The Thing. So, but the fact that it even appreciated it in some regard, I think is pretty cool. And if it weren't $60, I'd buy a copy from Scream Factory right away.
Right away.
But they don't sell it. It's out of print. I wish I would have picked it up. Whatever.
Oh, well.
But at least we got a fucking digital copy to watch it on Prime right now. So,
right.
I'd give this movie 7.5 easily out of 10.
High five.
It's a cheesy underwater fun, not afraid to show its flaws, and it also has, the flaws are some of its charm. Yeah. Acting, everything, all of it. May not be perfect, but it's got some pretty cool ideas in it, so I'd definitely give it a shout out.
Right.
Shout out! Shout out! Anyway.
It's good.
Yeah. So you did 7?
Yes, I did do 7.
So it's like 7 on the nose, man.
Yeah,
so that's a crowd pleaser.
Pretty good.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
I think it's one of the better ones of all those films.
Totally.
I don't remember the movie The Evil Below, but The Rift is still better than Deepstar Six, in my opinion. Uh-huh. Because it's just like cool. Like they do a lot of really cool creature effects and stuff in it. Yeah. And the Lords of the Deep is just weird and long.
Oh, I don't know what that is either.
It's practically like stingrays with eyes that glow.
So, did you have any trivia on this movie? Because I have some questions.
Yeah, I mean, I have some trivia. What did you want to ask? In
the beginning of the film, the middle beginning of the film, he was wearing an Arizona Wildcats hat.
Okay.
Do we know why?
No, I'm sure it's just
weird.
It's probably just to connect him to the surface layer.
Oh, okay.
I mean, this is in the future, and they were talking about like and by the way, we're getting into spoilers, guys. So if you don't want anything spoiled, I honestly encourage you to go see this one.
Yeah, you should see this one.
Like Deepstar 6, like fuck it,
skip it.
But this one, definitely don't listen to the spoilers unless you go see it. If you have Prime, you have no excuse. Go watch it tonight, enjoy it, and then come back and listen to this. It'll make it so much better if you just go into it kind of blind. So. The doctor in the movie said that the Earth was fucked up. And that it was falling apart up there and you couldn't breathe the air and it was really bad. He was like, down here, you should be thankful, man. Like, we don't get bothered by crime or any of that shit. So it's like futuristic thing of like everything that's going on up there. So maybe they were just kind of tying it in. Wildcats up there. I don't know. I don't think there was anything to it.
Oh, okay.
I didn't find any trivia on it.
Oh, okay.
So
it's just scary.
But Stan Winston, of course, like I mentioned, did the creature work, but his team also not only did the creature effects, but they also designed the final underwater suits too, which I thought were pretty cool.
Yeah, those were cool. Those were different.
The only thing that I could complain about it is like, who would put their names on the suit like that? Like they're all lit up and like it seems like a waste of a suit if somebody else has to use it.
Yeah, I don't know. Well, I would think since they were actually working out there in their suits, they would have to know whose suit that was. Like
big old
when you're out there
suits.
Working. Yeah. That's the only thing I could. But it's nice to have name tags when you're first getting introduced to the characters. Yeah,
some of the creature design was put together by looking at like a ton of different books of physiology of the like fish and like underwater creatures and stuff like that. And they came up with like 50 or 60 different sketches of like different creatures that they could put out like that look like one of those. And then somebody had the great idea. It was like Stan Winston and the director, they kind of waded through them all and then like decided to combine all of them with humans to come up with something even more crazy.
Oh, okay.
So, which I thought was a really nice touch.
Right.
Like, I really liked that in the movie, that they were infused with humans. Like, that was so cool.
That was cool. It was cool.
And that they were still alive and screaming and shit. Like,
Yeah.
oh! I love that shit. There was like a whole scene in the beginning, too, I think, where they're like, who's the hook? They were talking about the who's the hook with everybody in the suits. Apparently nobody's mouth, you could tell, like their mouths weren't moving to it because I noticed it. Did you notice it?
No,
like
I didn't
okay, I
notice
did.
it.
But like some of their mouth is covered by the suit. So they probably thought they could
voice it over.
Yeah. But I think the
Worked for
1080p
me.
really shows it now. So it's like
I see. Oh,
you can't get away with it as much.
You can't get away with that shit.
Yeah. So, but other than that, I mean, I have some other stuff I think in here that's mixed in with the other stuff. So, do you want me to kick off the early scenes since you are?
Yeah. Okay. I had troubles.
You should start writing stuff down that you see in the beginning of the movie. See what happens.
Yeah, okay, here's what I wrote down. I put opens up with them working on the ocean. Immediate action. I don't know what that word is. With failed equipment. That was Jesus' suit. Then I wrote conspiracy.
Okay. So
genetic alteration.
So do you have anything earlier on that you want to mention? Like
No.
you said that you liked the scene where they kind of snap into the oxygen suit with the Jesus.
Yeah.
So that was cool.
It was cool. I thought it was kind of weird because I was like, why are they having equipment fail? Like,
Yeah.
I was like, that's kind of...
Well, his oxygen thing was fucking up.
Yeah, and it's like, you've been down there for 6 months. You guys should have this shit worked out. But it was a good,
Yeah, fluffer
for the for the
beginning.
first part.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of tones down thereafter, but I thought it was nice.
And it shows their camaraderie.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, that's why they do it.
Yeah.
Going through tragedy together is what instantly bonds you to other characters. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Because you get to see their real side. Mm-hmm. And you're like, oh, that's a good guy right there. That guy's a fucker. So, I mean, there was a little bit of a dry spell. It's mostly like just setting up the characters and stuff in the beginning, little side conversations, and they all just get along pretty well, even though fucking Daniel Stern's six-pack character is like fucking creepily trying to rape people.
Yeah.
Pretty much like with his, like eye fucking them right in front of him, which is a little weird. But one thing I noticed is that when they finally do get to that ship and they get, like, he disappears. Mm-hmm. Daniel Stern character Six Pack disappears into the ocean and he falls off a cliff and then finds the submarine, the Russian submarine that has like, and he's not responding. Like, what the fuck is that all about?
I don't know.
Like, he couldn't have just said, hey, what up? Yeah,
Right.
I found something down here. Like, they had to make it this like weird, did he get eaten by a sea monster? Like, what is it?
Well, his communication thing went off because he was saying that he couldn't hear them either.
Oh,
remember?
But then he's carrying that fucking huge fucking safe that has the vodka and everything in it that they all try to drink or whatever. Which, there's another little fun little camaraderie there is that they're all trying to steal the fucking vodka out of Peter Weller's Beck's fucking locker, and they use his social security number as the code, and
it opens.
And it opens, but it's just water, and he knew that they were going to do it.
Yeah.
So. Just more camaraderie, like you said. That's going to be today's word, apparently. Yep. If we say it again, you have to drink. Okay.
Horror shot.
Yeah. But so when they drink the vodka, obviously when they get real vodka, because there was like a little flask that was in there, and then there was like a bottle. He poured out all the vodka and kept the fucking and put water in it to fuck with them. One thing I noticed right away is that because they get sick from drinking from Daniel Stern's character and that other girl, I can't think of her name, the one he talks about her boobs. He's like, what a nice pair. And she's like, what do you mean pair? And he's like, well, look at us. We're a different pair. Like, quite a pair, huh? And she was like, you mean my tits, right? It's like, oh my God.
Workplace sexual harassment again.
Underwater. They should have put that in like some sort of like video in underwater, like a training video.
A training video.
Yeah.
Don't talk about your coworker's tits.
Anyway, but the thing is they all get sick from drinking out of the flask. Only 2 people do. And it's that girl and him. And I'm thinking to myself, after he gets infected because he gets checked out by the doc, they're like, there's this possible infection on board, and the best counter to staying healthy is no gloves and a simple fucking paper mask that just, it's just like a cotton thing, like that just goes over their mouth. And they're just like touching people and stuff, like with bare hands and shit.
And they didn't even like lock him in a room.
Right. Well, in the room doesn't even have like an air sealed door. Yeah. It's like a fucking swinging door. Yeah. Did you notice that?
Yeah, I did.
Like a kitchen door that
like, what the fuck? Like quarantine.
Speaking of which, they both had their like moments, like the girl kills herself and Six Pack dies.
Yeah, once she finds out she has the whatever.
Well, she sees Six Pack's arm all like spewing out this orange, like yellow pus.
Right, and her hair starts falling out.
And she doesn't want to get fucking sick and die. She goes in there and sees him squirting that blood and she kills herself. And then they put their bodies together in the quarantine room or whatever, and they fuse together.
Yeah, they didn't even
I thought that was cool.
They didn't put him together, though. That's what's funny. They put him...
Separately?
He was in that room and she was on the like exam table, and they left and they came back and her body was gone and it went over to him.
Oh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Fucking nuts.
But I thought that was super cool looking effects. I mean, it looks a little rubbery and like shiny, but
whatever.
I thought it was cool. They were all like moving and writhing around, and there was like tentacles and like weird mutations coming out of it. It was like really cool.
Oozings.
That's the kind of stuff I like to see. I mean, even if it's not done well. Do you have a scene with De Jesus?
No, do you?
Yeah.
What is yours?
He gets attacked by that eel because they try to throw Six Packs and Bowman out into the airlock to like make them float out into the water, and then one of the arms busts through and scratches the dude, and then it gets chopped off. It's like a foot or something.
Yeah, I think it was a foot.
Yeah,
or leg.
But it's like all mutated and pickled and weird.
Yeah, it started growing tentacles and walking on its own.
Well, that turned into a fucking eel-like monster that busts out and starts sucking on his chest. And he's all freaking out, and Ernie Hudson's character, Jones, is like fucking seeing this all. He's like, what? He doesn't hear it. He's in the next room, and then he busts through the fucking glass to Jesus. He's like, oh! And then you see like Jones, he's all like locking him up and then doesn't help him. He's like, oh, I ain't touching you, motherfucker. And then they go back, and like somehow it's mutated him so bad that he busts through a door? Like a metal door right in the center?
Yeah, that was like a thick metal door too.
Yeah. Like, I'm like, what the fuck? Was it him or was it just another creature?
I think it was a creature. It was they merged together. I don't know.
Did it come back in when they threw the body out? Is that what happened?
Yeah, no, it was the arm.
Right, but I'm saying they threw the bodies out.
Yeah.
Did the body come back in?
Oh, I think the body came back in.
And then busted through the fucking one of the doors.
Yeah.
That's when because it gets a little confusing there.
It does get a little confusing there, so I'm just going to assume yes.
Then one of the nods to the thing, I think, is the creature gets into the blood supply. Did you notice that?
Yeah.
Because in the thing, they're all testing everybody's blood to see.
Oh, yeah.
And then they mix up the blood, and so that nobody can tell whose blood's whose.
Uh-huh.
And then that's when they get the idea to test out their blood to see if it's, they cut their arms open and shit. Uh-huh. So, but in the thing, it was kind of an act of like sabotage, and it was in this too, but it wasn't to find out who was not a real person or anything. So it's not like that kind of contagion.
Right.
Like it's very obvious who's infected with this disease.
Right.
It doesn't hide in a human being or anything like that. Like they're visibly sick.
Yeah.
So, but I don't know. I just thought it was kind of a nod. Seemed like.
Okay, that makes sense.
I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I really feel like this shares a lot more with the thing than the Abyss.
Oh, yeah.
So.
Did you notice when we talked about the jump scares? Like there was a couple times.
There was one in particular that made me like. Yeah,
he was like, I forget who was. He was on the ground fixing something.
Yeah, they were fixing the fucking like the
hatch or something.
Yeah, where they go down with the suits, because they would get in this little thing and then it would submerge them.
Yeah, down.
Yeah, and he was trying to fix it, and she just jumps down.
Yeah, I was like, "Hey, you need a flashlight?" Like,
yeah, he's like, "What the fuck?"
I thought that was funny, and I was like, "Oh my god, that was a jump scare!" Like,
yeah, it totally was. But
it totally was.
And it's a really cheap one, but it kind of made me laugh and enjoy the film just a little bit more because it was so obvious.
It was so obvious.
I almost forgot about that.
There was like a part where they were running around when they were looking for the creature with the guns. Do you remember that?
The
like,
fire guns or whatever?
Yeah, the part when
the base cannons.
Yeah. I thought that.
I'm gonna drop the base on you, creature.
I thought that was pretty funny.
Were they fucking raving? Like I don't even know what kind of gun that was.
I know it was just had fire on the end of it, and they didn't even like use it for anything.
I don't know.
I don't know either. It's weird.
I mean, it actually did work, the gun, though. So it wasn't like it was just obligatory. It, like, actually did light up, and there was, like, 4 pilots around this round thing. And they actually used it in the thing. So it was probably something to do with air in the cannons to blow the gas. I don't know.
It was weird.
It was interesting, I guess.
You would think you wouldn't want something like that underwater.
Right.
It contained an underwater thing.
Well, and then there was that scene where Cobb gets scratched and infected, and like his chest starts moving, and then like his hand is like turns into a mouth.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
I was like,
part.
what
that
the
cool.
fuck?
And
like,
it had teeth and shit.
Yeah.
Like the mouth had like teeth.
And then it attacks Doc, and he's like, oh, his face is all like, you don't know what happened. And then he's like, oh, they got Doc. I was like, well, he could have lived through that. And then you go back and you see Doc sick as fuck, all fucked up, looking pretty fucked up, I guess, you know.
And did he even die? It seemed like he just kind of
It grabbed onto his body and used it.
Right, so he just kind of turned. He didn't die or anything.
Well, he got brought into the amalgamation of creature and people.
But right before that happened, I thought it was cool that he sent out an email to like not send anybody down here, and he made all the escape pods leave so
to save humanity.
Save humanity, which pissed off the 3 remaining people so far.
Well, I think that was the right thing to do.
Oh yeah, totally. It was totally the right thing to do.
He didn't want to do it. You could tell that he was a good guy, He
was debating in his head.
Yeah, he didn't want them to know that he was going to do it, so he did it. But, he gets sucked into the muskrat fish, catfish looking creature anyway. Which they don't show until the very end, really.
Right. And then he's like peering behind the pipes.
Yeah.
And what's his name's like, Doc, is that you?
I think I just saw Doc.
And they're like, no, it's not Doc anymore.
That was Ernie Hudson's character when he said that. But I don't know how he saw his face all the way down there, like that far away.
Who knows?
Ernie Hudson said one of the funniest things in this fucking movie, and I gotta fucking play it out. So, like, after Doc gets killed, there's like, it's like Beck, fucking Jones, and the other chick that the love interest to Beck. I can't think of her name. No, yeah, she had straight brown hair.
Yeah, straight brown hair.
But anyway, they were like calling the head office at the top of the sea. They don't wear that at the top of the sea. It was just like at a base somewhere off the coast or something like that. It's with Crazy Eyes, Meg Foster. Mm-hmm. She's like on the monitor and she says, I realize you must have gone through hell. And he's like, gone? Bitch, we're still here. She's like, well, we're going to need a little bit more time. And he's like, how much time? And she's like, 48 hours. He's like, 48 hours? Yeah, just go back to sleep. Go back to sleep? I ain't sleeping ever again. It was funny, dude. But I love when he said, gone, bitch, we're still here. I almost wanted to do the shot based on that alone.
Yeah.
Of course, they escape all of this. You know, the creature chases them around the base for a while. And they get into these weird, like, suits. Well, they get into the suits and they have these, like, pouches that bring them to the surface. It fills with air and it pulls them up to the surface. And all three of them are trying to get out of there. And the first thing that's going through my mind is decompression,
right.
decompression.
Yeah, just watch that other movie.
What's happening? But their suits are so advanced that they actually do their own compression as they're going up.
Right.
Which they show it on the screen. It's like decompression. I bet you they added it in at the end, like post.
Because they were like, oh, shit, I guess this doesn't make sense.
Yeah, like they probably had to refilm that just to add it in there. But it was just a close-up shot of the word decompression in red.
Yeah.
So
it was just blinking.
Yeah.
Now, when they got to the top, I thought it was hilarious because the helicopter was coming.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, these fucking sharks just come out of nowhere. They're like, sharks! Sharks! Like,
yeah, that was really weird.
How convenient. That's just very convenient.
He's like, now you know you're having a bad day when sharks come and get you. It is a really weird choice to do that.
Yeah.
But then it doesn't end there either, because the muskrat fish, of course, comes back up and Beck chucks a fucking grenade in its mouth and he's like, say hi, motherfucker! And it pops, which is kind of cool. I don't know how that thing could have swam to the top, but I guess
it doesn't need decompression either.
Yeah, well, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, wouldn't it die? I don't know. So maybe it's got special DNA,
fins.
decompression DNA.
Decompression.
That's decompression DNA that they got in there. But yeah, like those movies always end with both of them coming to the surface.
Yeah.
And you know, The Abyss does too. I don't remember the end of The Rift, and I certainly don't know The Evil Below, which I heard is like, it has in common some of that sleazy shit in it, like that Daniel Stern was. It's got similar.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You can't forget the end.
Oh, that's right. I won't say it. I'll save that for you. But let me just build it up so people can remember, because earlier on when he sent the fucking air, the like suits up or whatever, not the suits, but the air bubbles to the survival bubbles to get up there, he sent a message, Doc did, saying, you know, I'm doing this to save humanity. And then when they came back in and found him gone and everything, they tried to stop it. He's like, well, let's see how much shit we're really in. And they type back and they're like, SOS, you know, we're actually still need help. And she's like, oh God, thank God you're still alive. And they're like 48 hours. And they're like, well, they're not coming back for us. And then at the end, they find out, well, that's right. She says that there's a hurricane going on up there and she blocks the internet from them to see if the weather's actually going on above them, because it's not.
Right, but somehow she overrides it and finds the story, and it pronounced all of them dead.
Right, she has stock in the company, and she checked her stocks,
Oh, that's what it was.
And they had to warn the stockholders that there was an accident at the bottom of the ocean where they were, and it listed all their names, and they weren't dead yet.
Right.
So, at the end of the movie, when they finally get rescued...
And Crazy Eyes was walking toward her and was like, oh, God, I'm so glad you're okay. Da, da, da. And he was like, save it for next time. And then he just fucking punched her in the face. And like, that was the end of the movie.
One of her fucking freaky eyes falls out.
I thought that was really good.
That's that Peter Weller touch, you know. He's the cool guy that doesn't tolerate shit.
Right.
But he's smart. You know, he's real smart. I almost paired this movie with Screamers.
I didn't finish Screamers.
We almost paired this movie with Screamers, which Christina didn't even finish.
Right.
But it was late, so it's understandable.
Yeah.
I think we had some stuff like
late.
people calling and shit.
Yeah.
So we'll have to finish that.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, maybe we'll do that in the future. I mean, but it might be a little too much. What are we thinking about doing next week? I'm thinking Necromantic. 1 and 2.
Why both?
Because I'm never going to watch them again for like a couple of years. You know what I mean?
Good. Well, maybe.
Christina, okay, so for those of you who don't know what Necromantic is, it's dead body fucking movies. So it's essentially like exploitative, like sex with bodies. But it's so over the top and stupid and kind of gross. It's just one of those things, you know. And we really should do it because I've been wanting to do it, but I didn't want to do it until we got the fucking Blu-rays.
Oh,
it's either that, guys, or we're gonna do the one Miss Call trilogy.
Oh yeah.
I'll let you guys pick to see what we should watch first.
One Miss Call. Tell Alex.
If you want to hear Christina just go off on the movies, pick Necromantic 1 and 2. Trust me. I get to force her to watch this. So, yeah, guys, thank you so much for coming by this week. Would love to hear your thoughts about these two movies. Do you agree with us? Did you like one more than the other? Are you a bigger fan of Deepstar Six more than the fucking Leviathan movie? Are you a huge fan of Leviathan and absolutely hate Deepstar Six? I would love to hear from you guys in the comments section down below. And, of course, you know, or if you made it this far, the secret word for today is camaraderie. Good luck spelling it. But thank you guys so much for coming by this week. We'll come back next week with a new one. Let us know if you think we should do Necromantic 1 or 2, 1 and 2, or the trilogy of One Missed Call from Japan. Let us know in those comments down below. But thanks again, guys. And as always,
Long live the voice.